Good morning. Welcome again to Morning Devotions, and thank you again for spending time with us today. I'd like us to go back to the book of Proverbs, chapter 14 today. There's a very funny verse back here. Funny in that sometimes it makes you want to cry because it's so true. One of our businessmen came to me one day. He said, Pastor Sumrall, it's so wonderful to be your own boss. It's so wonderful to own a business. I just wish I didn't have to have any employees. I said, what do you mean? And he was telling me all the problems that he had with staff. A person who owned a school one time looked at me and he said, I want to write a book one day on the biggest, craziest things, the most unexpected things that have ever happened. And I said, what would be number one? He said, staff. I said, so your problems are all with teachers? He said, oh my goodness, it'd be wonderful to own a school and not have to have teachers. Now, brothers and sisters, we need to understand in life that the things that produce income are also the things that produce manure. What? Yeah, the things that produce income are also the things that produce manure. Listen to what Proverbs says. Where there is no oxen, the manger is empty. Verse 4. But from the strength of an ox comes an abundant harvest. He said, it's really wonderful when you don't have to shovel manure in the barn. He said it's really wonderful when the barn stays clean. But he said, when you've got oxen in the barn, you're going to have to go out every day a couple of times and shovel manure. He said, but you know what? It's from the strength of the oxen that you get an abundant harvest. Now, some of you men, you own businesses, you have employees, and oh my goodness, they make your life sometimes very difficult. And you feel like you're shoveling manure. Just remember, you couldn't make as much money without all those employees. Just as remember, if you own a school, you couldn't make as much money, you couldn't have as many students without all those teachers. You need to remember that the things that produce profit also produce problems. The things that produce profit also produce manure. So you say, what are you saying, Pastor? I guess what I'm saying is, number one, you accept it, and number two, you learn how to shovel. Because a clean barn is nice, but there's no profit when there are no oxen. So just accept it and get a bigger shovel in Jesus' name.